Hi, I'm David Norrod. I'm principal broker of WJD Management here in Fairfax City, Fairfax, Virginia. And today, I'm with Amanda Bolling. She's our leasing consultant, and she's going to talk about a couple of things. How do tenants make application for the properties that we might have on the market? And then, most importantly, what she does to qualify these applicants to make sure that everything's going to go okay throughout the tenancy. So, have at it.
Actually a very simple process for the applicant and for myself as the leasing person. Once the applicant has secured their home that they want to call their own, they're shown by a realtor such as myself or their own realtor, and simply they go online, wjdpm.com. It's a 4-page app. It's very standard. And nothing scary on that app. It's who are you, what's your social, where do you work, do you have a pet, is there a co-applicant, and where you live. You can just simply go online and it comes right to David, who forwards it to me. And with that, we ask for a driver's license and 2 pay stubs.
It's interactive too. It's just like
yeah,
fill it out on your computer,
it's
right?
10
you don't have to print it out and do
10-minute stops.
Yeah.
A little trickier if there are 4 applicants, but I can make it work. So 2 per application. Once I receive it, I email the realtor and the applicant that I actually have the application.
Okay.
If it's not a full app, I'll let them know. I'll say, you forgot your pay stubs.
That
kind of
happens
thing.
a lot, doesn't it?
It does. A little bit more work on our end, but it's no problem. So try to submit a full app, and
Just to get up off money to do this?
you do. Thank you for that. So it's $50 per applicant,
The
and
applicant being a party to the lease, right?
party to the lease. So no children.
Everybody that's 18 and over, they're going to be party to the lease.
Right.
Is it 18 and over or over 18?
That's a good question. I believe
We'll get back to you on that.
I believe it's 18 and over. Don't quote me on that.
We have a sample on the website. Check it for yourself.
So once I receive that, they go in and it's $50 per applicant.
Okay.
You're also required to make the security deposit payment, which is the equivalent of the first month's rent. So,
but it's not first month's rent.
It's not.
It's security deposit.
We hold it in
escrow. A
escrow.
lot of people think they're paying rent up front. No.
It's actually very separate. The day you move in, you pay the first month's rent.
But the money that you submit with the application, that's going to be your security deposit if you get accepted. Now, the homeowner may require more of a security deposit if you have a pet or if you've got, wretched credit or something or extenuating circumstances. But with the application comes the security deposit as referenced in the listing, which is always going to be whatever the rent is.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's
And the
held in
processing fee.
escrow. Now, I am working on the landlord's behalf and qualifying for the landlord to choose the tenant.
Okay.
And I present everything in the most accurate light. And what I'm looking at is 2 things: history of payment and ability to pay. Ability to afford the rent. 2 very simple things. So when you're putting in your app, just think of those 2 things. History of payment, we pull FICO, the credit score. It should be over 620. Sometimes we get less. There are extenuating circumstances, and I just go to the landlord and say, do you want a double security deposit? Are you okay with that number?
Right.
We work that out. The other is ability to pay. We have literally a spreadsheet where I plug in your credit score, the rent for the property, the revolving debt. We're not talking utility payments. We're talking car payment. Monthly stuff that appears every month. And of course the rent. So we're looking at a debt to income ratio of 40% or less.
I think that's important.
It's important because people don't know A, their credit, very few do, and B, where they fall within that. So think of your monthly bills, you know what the rent will be because you've applied, and just simply do the math. It's very straightforward.
Well, I mean, that's much the same way a lender would qualify someone if they were trying to buy a house. And as a broker, I hear what other firms, how they qualify applicants. And there's some really crazy stuff out there. It's like you know, your blood type divided by your shoe size minus the state of Texas. I mean, it's just like crazy stuff. This is important. I mean, it's
simple,
an actual
but it's
spreadsheet
important.
of
Yeah.
you make this and you owe that, and there's your ratio.
Right. So, you know, very black and white. I compile all the information, how many applicants, credit score. If they have a pet, typically they'll want $500 for a pet security deposit, also held in escrow.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. What if there are 4 applicants? What if there are 4 unrelated adults? How are you going to qualify all those people?
So a little bit more work, but it's 2 separate applications, 2 on each, $200, $50 per applicant,
Uh-huh.
and you qualify in pairs. So,
so
each
every
pair
combination
has to
of 2
qualify,
has to qualify with that ratio.
which is a little tricky. And whatever number we arrive at is what I present to the landlord. So it's a full picture, but it really comes down to those 2 points.
Mhm.
Can they afford the rent?
Right.
And their
Ability to
history
pay.
of payment. A lot of people say, well, I'm starting a new job. Should I put that on there? If it's more money, I would say yes. And just send us on letterhead the
Letter of intent.
letter of intent, the
Yeah.
employment letter,
Now,
and we'll work with that.
if they're renting, you talk to their landlords, right?
I do. I get a landlord reference. Yeah, basically, have they paid on time?
Mhm.
Have there been any return checks? Would you rent to them again?
Do you ever
Just
get the feeling that a landlord's going to give you a great reference because they want to get rid of these people?
No, because they're set up so that I don't know how to answer that.
It's a simple yes or no would
No.
suffice. No, okay. Well, I bring that up
No.
because, you know, if it was my place and I hated these people, I'd say, yeah, they're just wonderful. But then you'd have to get into if they have return checks, 27 of them.
Right.
I don't know.
And the applicants can verify because there's usually a program for payments
Okay.
that they've always been on time. And I've had people even send me that, a copy of the printout.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of the stuff
Yeah.
you get. It's like from here to Philadelphia of just information.
I think people have a lot of fear around the application process. It's not judgmental. It's very black and white. Can you afford the rent?
Mhm.
And but we can also tell a lot from that person when the app comes through.
Well, you've been doing this a long time, so
I have.
there's probably a lot of gut feeling, like certain red flags. What are some red flags? Like, I gotta have it now. That's, I know for my experience, that's
That
probably the worst one.
urgency, if people won't supply their documentation when we ask, typically we want it within 48 hours, and then we'll have an approval within 48 hours
Mhm.
from that time. So if people, we've seen pay stubs that don't really make sense, that aren't
So
on
there's
letterhead,
Yeah.
that are on a cocktail napkin.
Signed by their mom, right?
Right, red flag. But most of the time it's very straightforward, and they come in, they get approved, I draft the lease, it goes out, they sign,
Okay.
they come in 3 weeks later for their keys. It's
Hey,
very
what-
smooth.
What happens if you send that lease out and you don't get it back in, what's it say, 2
It's
days?
48 hours.
What happens?
We basically reject the app, and we put the property back on the market.
But I think there's something else that happens as well.
Tell me.
Well, if you'll check the rental application on our website, you'll see that once they've been approved by the homeowner and we send them a legally binding document that they fail to execute within 48 hours,
Yeah.
their security deposit may be at risk
Yeah.
because technically the homeowner's been damaged. They've taken the home off the market.
Right.
Maybe there were some concessions that had to be made, like, oh, I need an addition build or something, you know, and you know what I mean? So, yeah, there are consequences if the applicants have been accepted and don't execute that lease within, I believe it's 48 hours.
Right.
Now, the other question I have for you is, let's say I'm an applicant and I got declined. When do I get my money back?
If I've worked on the application, and typically I have because you're declined, then you will not get your application fee back, your $50
Okay,
or
well, that
$100.
makes sense.
Because we put time
what about my
into it.
security deposit?
That is refunded.
When? You're sitting on my money.
Well, yeah, we hear that too. So we have a bookkeeper.
Are you making money on this?
We are not.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
The only thing we would keep would be your processing fee because we have processed it in good faith. And we alert pay lease that day to refund your money, and then it becomes a pay lease transaction.
Right, because pay lease is a third party that WJ uses
Right.
to not only collect money, but to also send our clients their money. No, wrong. Back that up. That's not at all true. People send us money with pay lease, right?
They do.
But homeowners can send money if they've got, huge, replace a kitchen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but once the homeowner has decided to decline the application, you notify pay lease immediately to refund the security deposit only.
Yeah.
Then it's up to pay lease. It's not because WJD doesn't have that money and,
Right.
if the tenant has it, I need it today, well, you need to talk
And
to
pay
pay
lease
lease.
will return
right?
it back to your banking account.
Okay.
Yeah, not
And
WJD.
how long does that take? Do you know?
3 to 5 days sometimes. Sometimes it's right away. It really, you can call pay lease and check.
Okay.
You can also check with your bank.
Well, the cool thing is, unlike many of the other property management firms, we don't take checks, and which means we didn't deposit them.
Or
so
cash.
Right. So we have to wait for them to clear before we can. It's an immediate thing. As soon as we know you're not going to get the place, we tell the people to send your money back.
We do.
I
And
think
that's a good
important.
point, too. When you come in to get your keys, it has to be certified
Oh,
funds.
yeah.
Both for the first month's rent and or a pet security deposit.
Additional. It's not a pet deposit. It's just a larger deposit
Right.
for the privilege of having a pet.
Right, exactly.
Now, how much is that usually?
It's usually $50 per pet.
Huh? That doesn't sound right.
I'm sorry.
I want more money. What?
Sorry, $500.
It's not my money. I want our clients to have more money. Let's be specific.
Sometimes cats are $1,000.
Yeah. Why
but
is that? You don't like cats?
I love cats.
Okay. It's not up to you though, is it?
It's not up to me.
It's up to the
landlord.
homeowners.
And cats spray.
Right.
And,
They're just kind of,
they're not trainable
no.
like dogs.
They've got a mind of their own.
They do.
Mm.
And so that's it. We don't have a bucket that says approved, rejected, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It's a very simple process. And
Ultimately, the decision is
we're
up to the homeowner.
it is. And they will relay the message back to the applicant
And of course the agent.
and the agent.
Yeah. If the agent is not you,
If the agent is not.
if the agent's you, then you'll relay the message to yourself.
Right.
Anything else?
That's about it.
Well, and that's what she does all day long.